had to bring out the red lights because today there is not good news, only bad. I'm sure you guys have seen the results regarding the new LL PyCon / Super Gogeta unit. All the content creators have been creating showcases for this unit, and honestly, we are all disappointed, and I'm happy to speak for everybody, me of all people, because I am a Fusion pioneer.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
If you guys know, Fusion Warriors is my team, so there's already people in my comment section talking about,
oh, you gassed them up.
If you watch my Should You Summon, you know I kept it real. I might have hyped it up prior just off the fact they're green. You can put my head on a stick for that, fair enough. But if you watch my Should You Summon, I keep it all the way real. As soon as we saw the kit, it was an understanding that
you should not summon.
There was no bias of, oh, it's Gogeta, you should summon. It was over for the unit. And even in PvP, there was nothing to save them. They did not give them the stats to make them more effective. It was just a simple matter of their kit looked bad. We used them in PvP, it was bad, and their stats also couldn't save them. Not even Zenkai buffs can save them. I've used them on a 4-time Zenkai buff team, and Zenkai buffs cannot save them. When can Zenkai buffs not save a unit? Even Zenkai buffs be saving old units like FSK. Even the Super Saiyan Broly from the Super movie, he can be saved by Zenkai buffs, but this PyCon Gogeta unit can't. Oh man, it's tragic. Legends just don't respect greens, and I think that's just the end of it. But what this video is about is the simple fact that I'm not going to make a tier list.
Ain't no way, boy.
I would usually make a tier list every time a Legends Limited drops or an Ultra drops. If it's a banner with 1% sparkings, I'm skipping it. Free-to-plays don't matter, and Zenkais are irrelevant too, for the most part anyways. But I cannot lie, the recent 2 Zenkais, the Janemba and the Super Gogeta, they are good. I even like the Super Gogeta a lot, enough to use him on my main team, so respect to that Super Gogeta. But back to the point, I usually make a tier list every time a new character drops a premium unit, right? But I'm not going to do that this time because I simply feel like there's no point. This new PyCon Gogeta is so bad that I'm not bothering making a tier list because they don't make the top 10. I've already evaluated it, and I could list 10 units on the palm of my hand off air in no order that would beat out this PyCon Gogeta unit. And let's do it right now. Vegito Blue, Android 17, Ultra Gogeta Blue, Gold Frieza, the new Cell, that Kid Goku, Kid Buu, Captain Ginyu's better than this unit, no joke. I would actually take the Super Saiyan Goku as well over this unit. That's 10 already, right? I'm also putting Rose above this unit as a better green. Revival Sign on USS just works better. Orange Piccolo is cooking up right now on regen. That's already 13, isn't that crazy? If you really wanted to force it, you could stick hit on USS, and that time skip is going to bring more value than this revival and anything else the PyCon and Gogeta unit can do. Even a unit that's been being used slyly on the sly, like the USS guys are not, they're not sneaky enough to think that we don't see them using him. I've been seeing the yellow Jiren a lot. Now I'm not going to go as far as saying he's better 100%, but I've been seeing him. It's crazy, and he is more punishing than this PyCon and Gogeta, dare I say. I fear it's very tragic for this PyCon and Gogeta. Now I'm making this video because I like to keep it real. Even if I was gassing something up, I would still keep it real. I'm just very honest all the time, so I don't feel no shame in making this video. It's not like I said they were going to be top 1 or even top 5. I don't list units prior to them coming out. I just...
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something.
Ride the hype, to be honest. I love baiting people as well. It's a lot of fun, especially if you tune into the streams. I stream every single day except Sunday most time. You would know I just be baiting people for fun on Twitter. People love to feed into it. I'll post a couple tweets on the screen right now. All of these are just jokes for the most part, but depending on which side you're on and how you want to view things, it works. But it's more so just to see the reaction that the community will give to that type of post, given that I do have a platform. So maybe I should be a bit more careful and a bit more responsible, because a lot of people actually don't like me. But that's besides the point. That's kind of just self-promoting in a sense. Follow me on Twitter, right? Follow me on Twitter right now, bro. Twitter's the spot. Back to the Gogeta PyCon unit. This unit is actually abysmal. So let me just summarize what the unit could do in general. So we have PyCon pre-revival and we have Super Gogeta post-revival. I actually like Super Gogeta, but he still has flaws and cannot escape this. I actually hate PyCon for making this Super Gogeta bad, because Fusion Warrior LLs and Ultras are never meant to be bad. There's not one that's been bad. I'm talking about LLs or Ultras. They've all been stunning, like really good. Even G4, they tried to sneak him and give him bad kit, but then they slapped him a plat because they understood he's G4. Do you get it? So PyCon, his pure existence and only reason for living is to make sure that you can build enough of the gauge so that Super Gogeta can spawn in with the gauge, and that way he can thrive. Super Gogeta without that gauge is gonna feel like the worst piece of... that you've ever used in Dragon Ball Legends. Just fill the gauge with Pycon, don't revive until the gauge is filled, because Gogeta also doesn't have an effective way of filling the gauge himself. Pycon, he can fill it up 3 times using his green cards, which is very, very good of course. And I think that's it. The only other way to fill up the gauge for the most part is to just literally stand there. So on standby or on field, it would fill up gradually, and it's so slow. It's slower than Hit's ultimate time skip. It's so slow. It's the fact that it's slow and it's not giving you anything major enough for you to really feel like, yeah, you need this, but you still need it, because even with it filling, he's only just mediocre. So after you revive, you get to Super Gogeta, right? You're thinking you're gonna touch the most gracious unit ever. No, the only thing that I really found notable about Super Gogeta, and you can add Pycon as well, is the simple fact that their blue card is a long-ranged attack. Now, I felt like this was a specific design to make sure that Janemba doesn't get one over this unit, but they put too much stocks in the revival and they just left out so many things in the kit that I will get into. If you even look at Super Gogeta's blue card animation, he doesn't have an ultimate because he's a revival or transformation. They don't usually give, or I don't think they ever have, to be honest, except for like Broly from the Super movie, the purple one. When the unit transforms, they would do their legendary finish through their blue card, and that sucks because if he had an ultimate, it would do crazy damage. So the blue card does damage as well, but I'm going off track. So if you look at the animation, he actually does like a run up, like the way he like zoomed past the Janemba in a sense. That should be a close range attack, but they specifically made it a long range attack so that Super Gogeta doesn't get caught up by Janemba, because if he was to get caught up by Janemba, this guy's stocks would be rock bottom. He might be the worst LF they dropped in the last 2 years. 2 years is making it even worse than it already is, because he's probably the worst LF they dropped this year. That might be a stretch because Boo Bros exist. But let's look at the things they missed out in this unit's kit. There's no consistent way to get your Vanish Gauge back. Vanish Gauge back, so many units in the game have it, and this unit does not have it at all. There's not one bit in the kit where you can get the Vanish Gauge back. Another thing that's very important nowadays is offensive type neutral. If you're going to be an attacking type unit, like what? Why would you be offensive, at least on Gogeta's side, and not be able to fight against type disadvantaged units? He does have type neutral on the defensive side, but it's only for 30 timer counts after transformation, so it's still kind of poor, especially if you transform early. This is not something he's missing, but just stupid in itself. I put it out on Twitter and everybody's seen it as well. The first initial impression was that, oh, he's a defense type. In general, you shouldn't just judge off the type. The type is very misleading, but in this case, it's proven true. Why is a Super Gogeta unit a defense type? At the bare minimum, Pycon could be a defense type, but then at least Super Gogeta should be a melee type just off rip. If they really wanted to just shaft him, they could have made him a range type, and what's crazy is he's already more blast orientated, which is not in favor for Gogeta at all. If you look at movies, if you look at fusions, the best teams are melee orientated. It's not that you can't run blast for at least sagas from the movies, and they already made him forced to be on sagas from the movies. At least Pycon, he would actually help the allies himself, vice versa, as a result of being with 2 other movies members. That just sucks in general. It just sucks. Straight up 3 big things that they missed out in his kit or could have just made better. The stats, they went for a blast orientated build. He's a defense type, carries 1 of each card. When his teams are literally just one way or the other, you might as well just make him dedicated to one side. It's just all a mess, man. Like, I'm not even the type to rant. I don't really be ranting. It's not really a rant, but it's just really a list. I'm not genuinely angry, but it's just a disappointment that they would do this. I blame Pycon, honestly, because if it was just Gogeta, we know he would slam. Let's talk about the devs as well in terms of how they developed kits. If we look at every revival unit we have in the game, it's like they put so much stock, and I'm using the word stock as if it's an investment because Joku said it, it's mad funny. They put so much stocks into revival. They think revival would literally beat anything. You know, if you look at a unit and you think, you know what, that cover node there is crazy, that type neutral there is crazy, the devs are like,
if we give him revival, he's unbeatable.
That's what they think, and we're using the unit and we get like 2-carded, 4-carded or whatever. What first life is out, it might as well have not existed at this point. The way we just get rinsed, it's a violation the way they be doing literally revival, because once you have the revival, you're getting nerfed everywhere else because the stock value that the devs hold for revival is too high. It should not be priced that high in the Legends headquarters. Toshi, and I just use Toshi, everybody uses Toshi as just a figurehead. So when we say Toshi, we're talking about the devs. Why is the value for revival so high in you guys' eyes? On its own, it is not that great. You really need the layers. Let's even talk about the defenses. How is a defense type not being defensive? He's not tanking nothing. Let's talk about the fact that right now they dropped a green unit in the height of purple being so dominant. And let's be honest, purple's been dominant since forever. So more reason to make a green that could actually survive, but they haven't. They just haven't done that. PyCon fans down bad because it's you guys' fault. I could say a lot of things, but I think the last thing I'm gonna talk about for this video is just greens in general. Why did they do green so bad? Do they just hate green? I would be so sad. If I see my favorite unit, right? Ultra Vegeta Blue is already out, so I'm safe. But imagine my favorite unit doesn't exist in the game yet, right? Ultra MUI. If I see Ultra MUIs drop in and he's green, I will be so scared. The minute I see green, oh no, I got a headache, man. I got a headache. I'm thinking I'm finished, man.
Fucking hell, man. I'm finished.
Like straight, yep, love.
Yeah, love.
On release. Revival sign on release. That Kid Gohan with the Piccolo.
Oh man, what are they cooking here?
The green stocks are so low that you might as well just log out the minute you see the unit has been announced green. And that's very, very bad. There should be a shift in meta in terms of colors. But when the meta shifts, it's usually just unit placement. It's not ever really element in a strong sense. There might be a few teams that pop out here and there, but I swear it's always 2 elements. The only time green really got lifted up was when yellow was strong. There was like the green, yellow, right? Because of Ultra Kaioken. That's not happening again. Or if it does, they bring out a crazy yellow, right? It won't be a green. And with that being said, to conclude, PyCon and Gogeta don't change anything, they don't solve anything. If we look at all the problems in the meta, what do PyCon and Gogeta add to the meta? What do they add? Is there anything that you see that they've added to the game? Is there any team that they've benefited? What is it? It's nothing. There's no problem they've solved. They haven't shifted the meta anyways, and they're not even good enough to place in the top 10. Tragic, man. With all that being said, just off the fact that Gogeta's on the unit, I will still be Z-powering them to 14 stars out of preference. I've done it for a lot of units. It takes a lot of time. It might take me like 6 months, depending on how the festival goes, but I will be chasing that 14 stars just because it's a Gogeta unit. And when I get them to 14 stars, hopefully they're actually able to thrive. But we know the end goal of the festival for the most of us, UG4 is coming. Let me know what you think about this unit in the comment section below. How do you feel about them overall? I'm straight up disappointed if you didn't get the gist of anything in this video, but I'm gonna leave it like that. My name is Zakashi, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.